Today is September 11th, 2020. 19 years ago, America was attacked by terrorists. It was a surprise attack, and we hadn't had something like that happen in our country for almost 60 years. Now, there are those like me who are old enough to remember. But even though our motto for 9/11 is never forget, there's lots of people who seem to have forgotten. They really do. If you do a Google search on 9/11 for images, you won't get the World Trade Center. You'll get images of Porsches. That's what I mean. People have forgotten. And there are those that were alive at the time, but they're too young to remember, or those that were born afterward. And they have no perspective at all of what happened. And I don't think our education system does a very good job of teaching history. And when they do, it's abbreviated and it has sort of a slant, to push an agenda, if you know what I mean. But every year around this time, I remember. And I take the time to remember, and I take this time of the year seriously. Now, in this country, we have the freedom to question authority. We have freedom to question this government. We have the freedom to badmouth this country. We even have the freedom to burn our flag, our most sacred patriotic symbol. And despite the fact that I don't agree with that stuff, I served in the military to protect people's rights to do that. And there are people out there who are conspiracy theorists. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Guys, I know you mean well, but you apply facts that don't have anything to do with what you're talking about to your conspiracy to explain it. Or you apply history that has nothing to do with your theory to explain it. And I cannot agree with you guys. 99% of your theories are very easily unraveled. They really are. But in America, you have the right to be a conspiracy theorist and tell people whatever thing you believe. And you shouldn't take those rights for granted, because in other countries you could be in prison for it. But this time of the year, not just on 9/11, but right around this time of the year, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of your criticism of America, of our government, of a presidency or an administration, of our military. I don't want to hear it. And I don't have to hear it. Other times during the year, I'll have a conversation with you, maybe, unless you start going off the rails with one of your silly little stories and make-believe time, in which case I just probably won't have that conversation with you, because I can be critical of what happened before and after 9/11 just like anybody else. I'm not blind, but I also am able to look at the big picture, and that's something that some people are too narrow-minded to do. And in some cases, it's veterans. It's veterans who are bitter with America and bitter with their military service because that was a little bubble for them, whether it be their fighting hole or the Connex box or the hooch or the flight deck or the cockpit, or maybe wherever they were stateside supporting something overseas. That and the people in their unit, that was their little bubble, and they had no grasp of the big picture. And the big picture is kind of an ugly thing, because there are times where we think we're doing the right thing for now and it backfires on us later. And there are lots of things in America's past that maybe aren't so good. But we're still the greatest country on the earth. We're the best. And despite the fact that we've made mistakes and we have things in our past that we shouldn't be proud of, we should still be proud to be Americans. We should be proud of America. And this time of the year, I think it's unpatriotic and disrespectful to have anything negative to say about America. I guess simply I'm just asking, could you save that for maybe December or March or June? But not in September, guys. Because for some of us, today's date means something, and it will always mean something. For those of us who are patriots, and those of us who understand the big picture, those of us who understand history, study our history, look at our history objectively and love our country despite its flaws. Love our country despite, well, look at what's going on this year. And don't get me wrong, I will complain about things that I see our government do that are unjust, unconstitutional, that aren't good for most Americans, aren't good for me and my family. I'm not saying you don't have the right to do it. But on today, or right around today, every year, at least when you're around me, could you show a little respect? Because your negative words about this country defecate on the graves of not just the people who died on 9/11, but all of the people who died as a result of 9/11 afterward. And I don't think you're thinking about those people before you're opening your mouth and you're exercising your American freedoms, your American liberty to say what's on your mind. And I don't think you're looking at the fact that a lot of people have sacrificed so you can say that even on a day like today where we should just be saying, we shall not forget. Never forget.